to consider this as entering a new phase in your development? You know, high school, college, MLS. Is this a new phase in your development?
Yeah, sure. I think it marks another step forward. Anytime you get an opportunity with the national team, it's a huge honor, huge opportunity you should never take for granted. So, yeah, for sure, it's another step in the right direction for me and where I want to go in my career.
We'll go to Hayden Bird from Boston.com.
And just, given, the national team call-up and you recently won MLS Player of the Week and just an increased level of media coverage, is that something that maybe you're less familiar with? Is just some of the, deserved praise, but also attention as well? Just, how are you dealing with that, I guess?
Yeah, I guess it's new, but it doesn't really feel any different. I go out there every single day. I train to get better. I'm around guys that hold me accountable to be a certain level of professional, whether it's here with the national team or back in New England with the guys over at the Revs. So not much really changes. The attention's flattering, but my focus is on putting my best foot forward and having good performances and racking up consistency.
A reminder again to media, if you'd like to ask a question, you can do so by virtually raising your hand. We'll move to Iva Skolarczak from SBI Soccer.
Matt, obviously you've been in camps before. You played in matches before. But this is a tournament, an official tournament. Is there any different approach to it, or is it pretty much the same? And I want to ask you about Miles Robinson. You got a chance to play with him a few times, and he obviously comes in with expectations and a chance to kind of maybe grab a starting role long term. What's impressed you about him now that you've had a kind of chance to work with him, up close a few times?
Yeah, I'll start with your first question. Yeah, obviously it's a little bit different. The games pack a little bit more of a punch, and you have to be perfect. But this is what goalkeepers always strive to be. Every time we step out on the field, you sort of live on the fence. Either you're a hero or you can be, the villain. And so every single time we're stepping out on the field, we're chasing that perfection. We're chasing that consistency. So my approach doesn't really change day to day, match to match. And in terms of Miles, it's been great playing with Miles. He's a super athletic guy. He's a student of the game. He's come a long way in his few years down in Atlanta, and I think the fans should be excited for what he's going to bring to this team.
Next will be Sam Minton from the Bet Musket.
Hello, Matt. I just wanted to ask, if you're likely to get some significant playing time with the U.S. men's national team this time around, do you feel that this is a big opportunity to showcase your talents to both the U.S. men's national team and also to European clubs who could be interested in you?
Absolutely. There's no secret that the stage is a little bit bigger when you're playing with the national team, but job one is winning that job and making sure that I'm out there and playing most of the games here, and so that takes focus every single day in training, and we're not looking forward too far. We're just going to look at every single day, making sure that we take care of business on the training field and let the chips fall where they may.
We'll go to Sean Goodwin from the KC Star.
Hey Matt, appreciate your time. We just got done talking to Gianluca Busio. Obviously it's his first camp. You've been called up to a couple of camps. You've had your first cap now and look set to have more. Do you remember what your first camp was like? Were there any nerves? And then would you have any advice for a guy like Busio who's in his first camp and looking for his first international cap?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my first camp. It was back in November of 2019 for a couple of Nations League games against Canada in Orlando, and then against Cuba down in the Cayman Islands. And it was an amazing experience, getting the honor to be with the team, and then we topped our group in the Nations League, and it was all great stuff. And my advice to Gianluca would be just be yourself. You're here for a reason. Remember that every time you step out onto the field. Don't try to be somebody you're not, and good things will come, because he's a very, very talented player.
Next will be Daniel Nora from Univision.
Hi, Matt. How are you? Thank you for doing this, man. What do you think is the biggest asset of this young and MLS team thinking of Gold Cup?
I'd say it's the hunger. It's the hunger and the intensity. We have a lot of guys on this team that want to prove themselves. They want to show that soccer here in MLS is great, and we want to step out on the field and get good results and play for a championship. So I'd say that's probably our biggest asset. And just overall our togetherness and camaraderie. This is a group of guys that has been together in January camps over the years, and those longer domestic camps that don't always see the European guys in. So it's a great opportunity for us to play together instead of a one-off friendly in a tournament style of games, and I think those are some of our biggest strengths.
We'll go to Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Hey, Matt, just looking at the guys who are with you in terms of goalkeepers with Brad and Sean, those are two guys that have done this several times each. They've been on Gold Cups, they've been in tournaments, and they're experienced guys, and naturally you're competing with them, but you're also, I'm sure, learning from them. What has this kind of been like, and how have those two guys helped you sort of get through this camp so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough, my first ever camp, like I was talking about back in 2019, the goalkeepers in that camp were Sean Johnson and Brad Guzan. So we developed our relationship there, and I think last year we probably played New York City FC like 4 times. So I got to see Sean and talk, and our relationship off the field is pretty strong. So translating that to on the field, those are guys, like you said, that have tremendous experience, especially Brad, playing overseas in the Premier League. And so just touching off their experiences, trying to learn, be a sponge while I'm around them. They're pros that have been starters for their clubs for a long, long time. So I know that for me, I'm still sort of new to this sport and to being a goalkeeper. So any chance I get to train with a goalkeeper that has more experience than I do, I'm always open to learning and open to growing and just being a listener and trying to get better the best way I can.
We will go back to Hayden Bird.
And then also, I just wanted to ask, how it's been going since you've been with the team this time, just, in practices, and also just, I guess, the vibe of the squad.
Yeah, it's been solid. We're working hard out here. We didn't really have a tune-up friendly, so we're kind of pinned against ourselves, trying to get ourselves going, and it's been really good, strong and intense. Tackles are flying and guys are vying for spots on the team, and everybody wants to make an impact. Everybody wants to be in that starting 11. So it's been real intense, but also off the field, it's been great getting to know some of these guys, and like I was just talking about, learning from their experiences and just trying to grow as a person and a player.
Next will be Charles Bone from MLSsoccer.com.
Hey, Matt, thanks for speaking today, and I had audio problems, so apologies if you already asked this at the start, but I wondered what your assessment of was kind of the path that you guys have to your goal. It's as many of us would say, this is a tougher group than in past years, and there's no third place advancements, and you guys have Canada in your group. So what's your outlook? How do you sort of find that balance between being hungry and carrying on the tradition of the program in this tournament?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the only way to approach it, Charles, is one game at a time. We can't look. You talk about Canada. That's our 3rd game in the group. Our focus is Sunday against Haiti and taking care of business there, getting 3 points and moving to the top of the group, hopefully. And like I said, just everything, there's no secret. It's a little bit more of a challenging group than some of the other ones. Haiti's a team that took Mexico to extra time in the last Gold Cup. So, it's going to be intense, but I think everybody here is up for the challenge. And like I said, one game at a time.
Our last question for Matt will come from Iva Skolarczyk.
Matt, in your previous one of your previous responses, you mentioned wanting to kind of show, as a group, wanting to show that MLS, the quality of MLS, and it feels like coming into this tournament, there's almost a sense that this U.S. team really, unlike other tournaments, doesn't have as good a chance to win because of Mexico bringing that full strength team. Is there that sense, that kind of maybe a chip on the shoulder, or a sense that we need to prove some people wrong, or prove some people that, show some people that MLS is maybe better than they think it is? Is there that feeling of an underdog kind of vibe to this group, which is a little different for this team? Yeah,
that is different. I wouldn't say that. I think there's an expectation of this program. When we step out onto the field in the Gold Cup, we expect to make it to the final, reach the final, and challenge for the trophy. So I think that expectation has been crystal clear from the higher ups like Greg, and that's what this group is working towards.